you're in this position, very common tutting angle, right? So these angles are like your king tuts and stuff. But what we do is, this forms a line that not many people know about. Well, I'm sure they know about it, but they don't use it in this type of way. So if we're here, we can bring our arm across like this, okay? So the angle we want, it's kind of like this, if that makes sense, right? So our wrists are almost touching each other, and our fingers are going to be where our elbow is, like if I bend that. So it's here. I go from here to here. And then from here, there is a scale we can do. We can go down, up, here, back, down. We can even also bring it up here, because the reason we do that is if we collapse the wrist and bring it up, we have like this, these squares, okay? So we can go here, here, or we can flip up and down, and then we can get into like these kind of square angles, right? From this position. So this angle, it is just like, it allows us to play around with the wrist and stuff from here too, because it's about opening or closing the wrist. We get different shapes. Over here, see what I mean? Straight line, closed. Here, we can play around with the wrists too. Like even we could like flip the direction in a different way like that. So these do make a difference because of the shapes that you can form like this. So this line is not the same as this line, right? If I'm here, then the angle is going to be completely different if I flip it over, right? So if I was to turn, now the angle's here, right? So how different is the lines when you do it like that, okay? But yeah, it all comes from this angle here. So 1, 2, and then we just start to like figure out, okay, where can these angles fit? And then start to make squares or boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start to play around with the wrist. 1, or up here, maybe the wrist down here, here, wrist here, here. Now try and lift this above the head. This is going to be hard with this jacket I'm wearing, but we can also play around with these shapes too, right? So this could be, oh, sorry, here, here, here. So it's a little bit hard to get these angles right, because what's going to happen is when you're coming up and down and stuff and moving your wrists, the positioning is going to change. If I move my wrist to here, sometimes your lining, it's all going to get messed up like where it is. So you got to be sure to make sure that your fingertips are either at your wrist or your wrist is at like your fingertips. I mean, wrist to wrist, or fingertips to wrist. And you can't really see it, but the elbow is also here as well. So the fingers do kind of meet up at this elbow point as well, right? So it's a bit harder to get some of these angles, but you can do it. When we have our hand turned down like this, our hand's going to be on top of the arm now, and then when I do this, the hand's going to be on the inside of the arm. So that's also something to remember. Inside of the arm, and this is like actually on the outside of my arm now when I do that. And then if we want to do like, we want to like flip the wrist down and stuff, we can either slide up, so now our fingers are at the elbow, and then when we collapse, it all comes back down, right? So this is up at the elbow, and then when we collapse down, it's at the wrist. So then when we do like a flip up, it all kind of like gets in the right positioning, right? So you can do it like this. We can have like nice angles here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can do that, you can get into this. 1, 2, 3. So you make sure your wrists and stuff look nice. 1, 2. Because these are all super cool angles as well. Like 1. This angle here is something that not many people do. If I'm here, 1, 2, 3, For this angle, you can use this for a lot of different things, right? So here, 1, and then we can like start to like trace these lines, 1, 2, and this angle here connects to like the prayer out. It connects to the right angles, the shoulder points here, boom, 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 boom. Because if one arm's straight, it's just this same angle, right? Like, same thing. You see? Same thing, right? So we can connect from here to there, or we could obviously connect it like that as well. Okay, so we can also do stuff like that as well, where we like you see how we can change where everything is like lined up. But if you know where your body is, you will know that you have your points, whether it's at the elbow, your wrist, your fingers, and all of this stuff can kind of just like get into the right place, the right positioning and all that kind of stuff. So here, wrist. But now I want to get to here. And now what if I want to get to the fingertips? Now what if I want to get back into the original position? Then I have to kind of go like this, 1. You can do stuff like that. You can kind of get into it like this, slide across, slide down. So this angle is very underrated, at least in my opinion, because it does also connect to so much stuff, like the prayer touch and all that. So this angle here, same thing, it's here, but my hand's just now sliding up, right? So we can do stuff like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, wrist, or what we could do from here is we could go like 1, 2, and this is also like the same kind of thing, right? But remember how I was saying the wrist can be turned around? It's the same thing where my wrist is now just like, instead of being turned this way, it's now like this. And to give you a better example, remember how I was doing this at the start? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and it's the wrist just turned around. So try, instead of having your hands like this, just play around with your hands in a different position now. Now if your hands are like this, what's going to happen if I did that? You see how 1, boom. Now what if I turn my wrist this way? Or maybe 1 in, 1 out, but they're kind of like the same direction. Bam. And now try to flip it over. Okay? Down. And now maybe turn this way or turn it in. Okay? Or here, flip up, or have it like this and then flip up. 1, 2, down, up, here. Bam. Bam. Down. Wham. Bam. Here. Here. Maybe turn the wrist. 1. Here. Slide across. Up. And you get some like nice crazy angles. See, this is a little bit hard to do these angles. Like that was just like, I've never tried that before, so that's why it looks a little bit messy, that angle there. But yeah, some of these angles you can get into some really weird ways. Like if I was to turn my hand like this, it does not feel really natural, right? This is like really awkward to turn my wrist like that. So what I want to do is, naturally my hands would want to be like this or something, right? So I could really turn easily and get into all that kind of stuff. And even from here, what we could do is we could like bring our hand up, collapse our hand in, and then we could like still like get into it like that. 1, 2, So you see how we can still use this position to get into like all this stuff, right? Bam, 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 down, up, down, up. So that's another one that I think is pretty good to try. So let's try that one. Let's go 1, 2, 2, 3, and then just go up, down, up, down, and then try up, here, maybe try this, like squares, here, and then try like collapse something down to this position, and then try go like, maybe, well it's a bit hard with my wrist, but here, and then I'll try to turn my wrist down with that, 1, 2, unless you can get the wrist to do like that. Like my wrist is probably not flexible enough to get in like that, it feels a little bit awkward. What I'd probably want to do is like back of the wrist instead, so we can still do that like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that to me feels a little bit easier to do like that, right? But even from here, like I was saying, 1, 2, or we could play around and do all this cool stuff. So this angle here, right? 1. You can come from the prayer tap. 1, 2, 3, 4. But remember how we get into it? As long as one hand is in this shape here, that's all we need to get into this. Bam, right? It's the same kind of thing. But what we're doing is, remember how I said everything links up at the elbow or the wrist? Well, now we're at the wrist, right? So we have to figure out how can we get down into it. So the angle here is going to be a little bit awkward. It's going to be like this, and then it's probably going to be like that at one point. So 1 from this to there, and then I might be like sliding down. Alright, so in this position here, we can slide straight down to the elbow and then get into it like that. Or we could just try and like slide our hand back a little bit more, and then we're in it like that, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff you can do from that one kind of like position. But we can also like connect and do all this other kind of stuff to get in and out of that as well. So yeah, just as long as you got your hands in any one of these angles, there, it could be up here, here, your wrist could be facing any direction like this, and then all you want is to just have your hands and wrist either at the wrist to rest, or kind of like fingers at rest like that, and elbow points as well. So do remember the elbow points because they're important. Like if I was to do this and then flip up, now we're into it, right? So here, so this is like boom, boom, 1, 2, 3, and now just flip it down. You know what I mean? Like flip. And then what we can also do is we can come here, up, and then start closing the wrists and all that kind of stuff, right? So turn the wrists. Maybe you want to like just play around with what you can do, like see if your hands can go from here to here. Maybe your hands can still like get into a box from there, right? So let's try boxes. Here, we can get into it from there. 1, 2, right? Now try, what happens if I do this? Now we're in like this box shape. 1, 2. And then what happens if we come up like this with just one arm? Okay, maybe try to turn the wrist. Bam. And now try this one again. Here. So just as long as you play around with like different stuff with your wrists, different directions, and starting in different positions, like I was saying, even here, boom, you can get into it from there, right? Just because we're like, yeah, 1, 2, and then this is the same kind of thing. Bam, or bam, 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 here, 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 here. Sorry, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can try that. So I hope that helps, guys. Peace.